RTO and Lines in Jackson Hole, Wyoming at the 2009 ColorTyme Summer Retreat. We're here with ColorTyme franchisee Ron Koller. Ron is not only a ColorTyme franchisee, he's also a partner in PC Rental Agent. Welcome, Ron.
Good morning.
Now, you have stores in Illinois and
Florida.
Why? How did you end up in Illinois and Florida?
Well, I used to work in the Chicago market with companies that I worked for, so I know the market very well. I knew people up there. I knew store locations that I wanted to develop, and I live in Florida, so we put stores up there and one in Florida.
And as you say, it gives you a good vacation strategy, right?
Exactly.
In the Chicago area?
Just outside Chicago.
Just outside Chicago.
Yeah.
And very densely populated.
We're actually in two of the smaller towns outside Chicago. One's in Joliet, Illinois, and the other one's in Kankakee, Illinois.
Kankakee.
Yeah.
And what part of Florida?
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. Right in town?
Yes.
There's a big population in Jacksonville, right?
It's a very big population. It's also a very competitive market. There's a lot of rent-own there, and it's extremely competitive.
How many stores do you think are in Jacksonville?
Rent-own stores? I really don't know the total number, but it's a lot of stores. The big chains are all there. They have a lot of stores there, as well as a lot of private owners. So,
interesting. Two very different markets that you do business in. What's different in the way you operate in those two?
We operate pretty much the same. I mean, it's ColorTyme. We follow the same operating procedures in both states that we're in, so it's very similar business for both states.
So a person who can be successful in Kankakee can also be successful in New York or
I'd like to think
San Francisco,
I'd like to think so.
Wherever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
How? What do you do differently? Why should people shop with Ron?
Well, ColorTyme, it really promotes the hometown theme, and we really believe that the name on the door is not as important as the person at the counter. So we push that very strongly in our stores. We try to build very good relationships with our customers and work with them through good times and bad times. And we always try to under-promise but over-deliver on quality products and also on quality service. So, personally, I believe that everybody's got similar merchandise, if not the same merchandise. The way you differentiate yourself is how you treat your customers and take care of them.
So you focus on your people a lot, I assume?
Absolutely.
Is it important to find and keep good people?
Absolutely. I think people are the key to success in this business. I've always believed that you could put a store in the middle of a cornfield, and if you have the right people in that store, working in that store, you will be successful.
Have any trouble keeping employees?
No, actually, our turnover is extremely low. We have had a little bit of turn this year, but with the current economic and employment environment, it's very easy to hire very quality people right now, and we've been very fortunate. We've got a core group that's been with us for the whole time that we've had our stores.
Would you rather hire inexperienced or experienced rent-own people?
To me, it depends on the individual. I will consider somebody with experience. I'll also consider people with no experience. To me, it's up to the individual and their skill set and personality.
How many employees do you have?
12.
Give me the typical employee layout at your locations.
We keep it pretty simple. We've got a manager, an assistant manager, an account manager, and a delivery driver in each store, and that works for us really well.
What kind of training do you do? Do you utilize ColorTyme University for your people?
We use ColorTyme University. In addition, we use the online Excel training program that ColorTyme provides. It's a self-directed multimedia training program, and it's excellent. It's one of the best I've ever seen. It's a great system. Again, it's self-directed, so if you've got somebody that needs a little bit more time on each module, there's 20 modules, so if they need a little bit more time, they certainly can take as much time as they need. But also it stops them at checkpoints along the way to meet with the manager and review the materials to make sure that they actually understand the materials. And there's quizzes involved, and basically it's been very successful for us with people that have come in in the industry and also outside the industry. It's worked very well for both.
And those training systems are written specific for ColorTyme processes, yes. I assume?
Yeah, it's ColorTyme specific. They developed it a few years ago, but it's been very, very good for us.
How's the economy affected you in Illinois versus Florida?
Well, it's affected us pretty much the same in both markets. Usually, what I've seen in my experience in the industry has been that in a downturn economy, typically rent-own does even better at time, when that happens. Right. But what we've seen is that this current cycle has gone on for so long that our customers have been affected pretty dramatically. So we've seen a lot of our customers have gone from one full-time job with a good salary and benefits to having to work 2 or 3 jobs, making less money with no benefits. So we've seen our customers really tighten their belts, and there's a lot of stories out there, and I'm sure your viewers have heard or seen them all firsthand. But we believe what's going on currently is there's going to be a lot of pent-up demand. So as the economy picks up again, we think a lot of people are going to have wants and needs for our products and services, and however, they're going to be credit and cash constrained. So we think as the economy picks up, we're perfectly positioned to take advantage of that and be a great source of products for our customers.
Have you had to adjust your product or pricing to from the economy as a result of the economy?
Actually, we have. We've seen 2 years ago, for example, everybody wanted the biggest and most expensive TVs and everything. But as this economy's kind of moved along,
right,
we've seen customers going from the 73-inch TVs to the 32-inch TVs, and we've had customers downgrade to smaller products and overall less agreements per customer. So customers are being very selective on what they're choosing to rent right now.
PC Rental Agent.
Yes.
Fascinating product. Made specifically for rent-to-own computers.
Correct.
And tell me a bit about it.
Well, my partner Tim Kelly and I, a few years ago, we had our stores, and we wanted to rent a lot of computers. Mm-hmm. And most of our customers were wanting laptops, which were higher dollar items and easier to misplace or skip with. So we wanted to come up with something that would help us lower our risk, but yet provide us with the ability to find the computer if it did disappear on us. So we created the software for ourselves, put it in our store, started using it, and worked really well. Our managers really liked it. So at that point, I called up some friends of mine in the business and gave it to them free and just said, hey, we've developed this. Would you like to try it? They did. They liked it. And within a few weeks, I started getting calls from people I didn't know who had heard about it, who wanted to buy the product. So initially, we didn't really produce it or develop it as a product for market. But at that point, we decided, it was obvious that we had a product that we could, sell. And we actually took out an ad on RTO Online, and before long, we had hundreds of customers.
And you've sold this product around the world, haven't you?
All over the world, yeah. Every time zone, all over the world. We've got customers in Australia, New Zealand, Guam, Aruba, Europe, Canada. It's all over.
Plans for any additional software?
We do have other products on the drawing board right now. Actually, PC Rental Agent's been so busy, it's hard to get to those products. But we do have some things on the drawing board that we'd like to introduce, next year.
What about stores? You going to open up additional stores?
We are looking at opening up additional stores. Even with the current economic climate out there, right now is a great time to lease, storefronts. Landlords are extremely aggressive on terms and conditions, so we think it's a good opportunity to open additional locations and be prepared for the economy to start to turn around. So right now we're looking at 1 to 2 more stores.
Why ColorTyme?
Well, I originally started in the business 20-some years ago, and I was with Rent-A-Center, and basically ColorTyme is Rent-A-Center with a different
subsidiary
logo. Right. So I was very familiar with Rent-A-Center. I was there for 10 years. I really liked the company, and when we wanted to go out on our own, we looked at all the options available a few years ago, 5 years ago, and ColorTyme was the one that fit what we wanted to do the best, and we've been very happy with ColorTyme.
The Rent-A-Center culture has shaped the industry, hasn't it? I mean, when I travel around the country, whether it's independent operators or operators with other companies, everybody seems to have come at some point from Rent-A-Center.
Well, being the biggest company, they're going to have the most ex-employees. They were the biggest first, and to me, Rent-A-Center was kind of like what Walt Disney did with theme parks. They looked at carnivals and small theme parks, and they said, we can do this better, and we can make it a better experience for the customer. And I think that's what Rent-A-Center did, back in the 80s and 90s. They came in and they, rolled up a lot of companies and opened up a lot of new stores, but they really brought higher standards to the industry and made it a better experience for the customer. And now I think there's a lot of other companies out there that have, taken on the challenge to compete with Rent-A-Center, and it continues to, that competition I think really fosters the environment where everybody's trying to give the best experience to the customer, and it benefits everyone.
Ron Koller, ColorTyme franchisee from Illinois and Florida. Thank you.
Thanks, Roy.